have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla. Wake up, everyone! There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe enough. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Calling Monster Island. Monster Island.
Hello.
From Monster Island. We're back. I feel like I'm always having to say we're back, Jay.
I know it should be your back because you're
back.
the
You
one
were here.
continuing to jet set across America back and forth every week.
You were here. Thank you, Jay, and to Ryan for stepping in and taking care of the show while I was off on business. We'll say that. But
I love it. No,
I appreciate
it. Was
Jay.
super fun.
Yeah,
I was just saying, it was
how'd it
super
go?
fun. It was great. And Ryan, thank you again, Ryan. And it's good to know that you have when you or I have to go away, we have so many good people that we know that
somebody
can
else
step
do
in
it
and do a better job than us, probably.
Hey,
we're
next
the
next show, neither one of us is going to be on. We're just going to get someone else to do it.
I know. We'll just license out the name. Be like, yeah, you can use our name. That's fine. Just pay us a fee. We're good. We're totally good. And you can say anything. Nothing's off limits. Whatever. How are you, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm good. Got a few pickups that I'm excited about. This movie that you made me watch, and we mentioned it already, but there's no news this week. Very little, very little to none. No news, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Keep it light. We're gonna need all the extra time to, get into the deep dive of this fucking movie.
But without giving too much away, there's definitely stuff in this film that I've never seen in any other kaiju film.
Yeah,
I will say
that was 100%, and I enjoyed that part of it, even though it went on for 36 minutes. Cool, Jay. We'll get right into stuff.
Yes.
We want to talk about what we. I know you had some stuff on the list for what you watched. Do you want to do that first?
Yeah,
do toys first.
Yeah, we can do this. We can zoom through this. There's nothing like that's gonna shake the very foundation of the Earth as we know it or anything. But
okay.
So I finished up Ultra Q, which I mentioned the last one. I'm starting to kind of go back and watch some episodes and try to come up with the top 10. I might do one of those top 10 videos again. I'll tell you,
you should.
More so than even Ultraman or Ultra 7, there's a lot that are kind of jumbled up in that numbers 6 through 15. They're every day I think I have a different order. I know my top episodes on Ultra Q, but it's really hard, and it speaks to there's some clunkers, but there's a lot that are very good, and they have something that's really good. They might not be perfect. And so kind of figuring out that bottom half of the top 10 has been really, really, really hard. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch them back to back, where I can do okay, I'm deciding between this one and this one. Watch them back to back, and which one should be number 10.
You do an elimination.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the good news is there's 29 episodes or whatever. I feel like there's 15 or 16 that are good, and everything else I'm maybe not top 10. But because I stopped watching Return of Ultraman 30 episodes in, because it's a bazillion episodes, to go back and watch Ultra Q, because I just was in that mood, and Return of Ultraman was I was losing a little interest. I'm back watching some Return of Ultraman, and it's I'm totally re-energized. I don't know if it was because of obviously the news that Jirodon passed away. And maybe. It was I know the first live action. He's the first live action Ultra that we've lost. Because both the actors that played Ultra 7 and Ultraman, played Shin Hayata and Den Moriboshi are still around. Yeah. And so I went back and I started watching some of the episodes, rewatching a few and then getting back into it. And I appreciate kind of how different it is. The main character of Hideki Go is way more flawed than the other two. The other two, like Dan had a little bit, but and I think that's a really cool, like that part. I'm almost enjoying the non-kaiju ultra battle stuff more in this one, because I just feel like there's more you can do with that character, and he's not perfect, and you're like, dude,
it's a little more relatable.
Yeah. And so I'm really digging it. And we'll definitely do a top 10 on that, because I think there's some really good ones and some really like, what? So super pumped. And then, you know what? I had another thing, and I'm going to pose a question to you, more of a rhetorical question. But so I was just kind of screwing around the house, not doing anything. And I put on Amazon Prime was on. So I put on, like, it says, you know, these shows you might like. And I put on Gamera versus Gyaos. I haven't watched it in a while. I think because we just did Gamera versus Baragon on there. And so it probably was up in the algorithm and said, hey, you need to watch this. And I hadn't watched that one in a long, long time. First off, I still hold true to my Gamera versus Baragon is my favorite of the Showa era Gamera films. But I think Gyaos might be my least favorite kaiju of all time. I know he's had cool incarnations, especially the Heisei one, but like, I just like, doesn't do anything. I don't like the design. I don't like the film. I don't like anything. I just and he's an ass. He eats people and dogs. Like, come on, dude. But I don't know. I think he might be my least favorite of major kaiju. Of Daiei or Toho, or like the big guys.
Gyaos has always been one of my least favorite Gamera villains, because I just feel like it's a boring kaiju.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope when the anime comes out, Gyaos is first, get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like, do it and let's go.
Which is weird, because I was gonna ask, like, do people like Gyaos? Because I thought you did, because I know you did that for that Gamera fanzine.
Yeah, but you
did that great drawing.
But I only did that because his eyeballs hanging out, and I always thought that was cool. I always thought that was such a cool moment in the movie.
It was, yeah.
His fucking eyes hanging out, and I was like, oh, I want to do something gross, so I did that. But yeah,
I do like the Heisei Gyaos better than Showa Gyaos. I'll give you that.
Sure, me too. But it's just the design is like, all right, it's a worse looking Rodan. So
hey, but he has a forked throat, and he can shoot the supersonic beam. And also in that, and I know we're not doing a review on this film. I forgot. I never. No, I kind of want to finish out, like, because we did Baragon and this kind of happened. I just sat down, I kept watching and watching.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to do the rest. I kind of need to do not Giron. What's next? Viras is next, and Giron. I kind of want to do them all now. I do like Giron because of, like, he kills a space Gyaos, cuts his wing off. That's kind of cool.
Should we do that? We could do Zigra.
Yeah, that dude's a badass.
Yeah.
I kind of, like I said, I kind of want to sit down and watch him, but I don't know. I mean, it's like, you know what you're gonna get. You've seen them. You know, like, they aren't your favorite, but you still watch them, and you're like, I don't know. It says something about me, I guess. But
that's that we are all like that. It says something.
I know.
About all of us.
I know. Like, when I watched Godzilla 2000, just because, and I'm like, I hate myself.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's all.
Anything else? Did you watch anything else? Okay.
How about you?
I gave a rewatch to a movie I have not watched in a long time. Not quite a kaiju film, but maybe kaiju adjacent. I watched The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Oh, that's totally a kaiju film.
It's been a long time since I've watched Seventh Voyage. That's a great movie, man.
It's a great one.
So good. I wish people were still making those kind of movies. I feel like you could reboot the Sinbad series, and they could be really fun and have a lot of cool creatures in them. That movie's great. There's 2 Cyclops in it, and there's a dragon, and it's awesome. It's just everything about it is great. It makes me want to go back and rewatch all the other, the other few Sinbad films, and then I'm just like, fuck, I just want to watch Harryhausen stuff now. So
and buy some stuff. No, I can almost reach out and touch my vintage Seventh Voyage of Sinbad movie poster right here. I love it. It's one of my favorite. Actually, it's not the original release, but then I think they re-released in the early 70s. They did another showing of the original one, and it's from that release. But it's great because it has The Rock, and it had not Dwayne Johnson, the mythical bird, and it has the Cyclops and the dragon, and then Sinbad down there with who is it? It's Catherine Grant, I think, that plays the lead in that one. It's not Caroline Munro. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, I love that. I love that. That's my favorite of the Sinbad films.
Yeah, it's great. There's a VHS that I own now, and I owned a copy when I was a kid that I would watch all the time. There were two of them. There was one that was like strictly dinosaurs, and then there was one that was like sci-fi stuff. I say strictly dinosaurs, but dinosaurs and Godzilla and stuff like this. And all it is it's like an hour and a half VHS of movie trailers.
Yeah.
And I watched it so much as a kid, and I'm watching Seventh Voyage of Sinbad the other night, and there are scenes that I'm getting to that are making me remember the trailer, and it's just you hear over and over is a voiceover saying "Dynamation."
Yeah,
I'm talking about the new filming process. It's the same way with like Valley of Gwanji's on that tape, and every time I watch Valley of Gwanji and it gets to the announcer who's like about to announce the horse, that's how the trailer for Valley of Gwanji starts, and I was like that. I have all that just memorized from watching that dumb VHS, but
it's not dumb. It's amazing. But yeah, I do think we should probably do I won't say an episode, but a series of the Sinbad films or some of the Harryhausen mythology.
Listen, films. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but we're gonna start reviewing good movies on this show.
No,
I'm tired. No, dude, I'm tired of sitting down.
Don't see this. We're watching it for them.
I'm tired of sitting down and being like, "Cool, I've never seen this, haven't heard of it. I hope it's good," and then having to sit through an hour and a half of like the worst. This movie sucks.
What is the last good movie we reviewed? What is the last?
I don't know, Jay. Singular Point. I don't fucking know.
I said movie. I don't. Godzilla versus Gigan.
I'd have to look at the list, but I feel like the last
we've had a couple okays.
Well, there's been a couple okays. We talked about
Congo.
And, yes, I don't know. There's some good ones in there, but
the Gilala movies.
Gilala was fun, but barely. One of them was good.
Godzilla
1.5.
Godzilla.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was finishing I was halfway through this movie, and I was like, "God damn it, Jay! I'm not letting you pick movies anymore."
Hey, this one. In my defense, I obviously had never seen this either because nobody had outside of South Korea. And so this is a little bit more of a, it has some, I don't want to say historical significance. I don't want to overstate it, but like there was a reason we watched it because it just came out and people were talking about it. So this one, you can't blame me. The other ones, that was totally my fault. Yes, that's a great banner. Warning, 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 warning. I'm going to try to defend. Well, not really. I'm not.
Yeah, good luck, dude.
I'm going to talk.
Hold on. We can't start talking about it right now because I literally have this much to say about it. So I
haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it in 4 weeks. Let's
let's spend about 40 minutes doing our pickups, and then we can talk about the dumb movie. Go for it, man. What do you got?
One I got, and I know you got as well because you told me about it. So I wouldn't have even known about it. So, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, and I want you to fill in the gaps because you know these guys and everything they do more than I do. And this is where this movie means a lot to me because of the nostalgia factor. This is one of your favorite movies. So I don't, like I said,
it is. Yeah.
I'll let you add any additional commentary.
I didn't even put it down in I forgot about it until you.
I know because so long ago.
It's been so long ago. Yeah.
But one of the great movies of the 80s, especially kids that love dinosaurs, was Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. And outside of, I know there were trading cards, but there wasn't a whole heck of a lot from a merchandising standpoint and nothing from a toy standpoint, really. And so the good geniuses, the toy making gurus over there at Phantasm Toys, Tony Taylor and Beducci Studios, who did our logo, they did an amazing baby toy out of resin. I believe it's resin. I'm not very good at all the materials, but it's like 9 inches long. And look at this guy. This is it is a really damn good toy.
It's perfect.
It is. I hope that there's
mine's right there.
and hopefully it looks the
right
same
there.
because they
Yeah,
are
it's
definitely
identical. Yep.
quality control, consistency, and I hope there is a category in the Jeffries next year for hey, like I'll do it myself because I'm a badass, and this one should be in there.
Yeah.
I know they do awesome stuff with the things that resemble Ghostbusters things and whatnot, but this is so friggin' cool. They did a wonderful job. This thing is heavy. It has weight to it.
Yep.
The paint job is beautiful. It's like you can tell there's like some texturing and the skin folds like it's done just great. It's done wonderfully. Yeah. And so kudos to those guys for the work that they do. And that was a really cool pickup.
That is a great pickup. What happened with that was Beducci posted, he did a render of it, you know, he did a render of it and he posted on his Instagram and he was basically like, hey, I've never heard anybody talk about this movie, but I like it. So I just thought this would be cool. And I don't think they were planning on making a toy of it because I messaged Beducci immediately and I was like, hey man, I will do anything you want me to do in my life. I will give you any amount of money that you want if you print me if you can make me one of those toys. I was like, I love this movie. There's 0 toys from it. Can you make this? And he was like, hey, well, let me talk to Tony. I think we can you might have to paint it yourself, but we'll figure it out, you know? And I was like, hey, I'll do whatever. I don't care. And then I think they probably got some other people commenting on it too. And they decided to do a run of them. So luckily I didn't have to paint it myself. Thank you. But yeah, dude, job. That, there's no toys. There's 2 different like little candy containers and it's like the head. There's 2 different ones. There's some books out there. There's some coloring books. There is novelization. There is an inflatable baby, which was a promotional item. And that's it. And I own all of it.
That's awesome. Well, then now you own like the coolest toy.
I'm so happy. Now, if I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I wonder what other toys I could get them to make that didn't get toy lines.
Tell Jay, what else you love Buckaroo Banzai. Well, actually, hey, real quick, everybody. Come on now, Buckaroo Banzai is the best. Tell them that, we're going to tell everybody that amazingly, there's still some babies left. Go to Phantasm Toys. And you can buy
no one else is ever going to make it. So go buy it.
Yeah.
It's for sure. It's literally a perfect toy. It's perfect.
And you and I both have a lot of toys of different styles and whatever. And I promise, like, it's that good. Like, it's really.
I'm going to try to. I don't know if they're Hey guys, if you guys are listening, I want the mom and the dad. In scale.
And some poachers. I know, right? So I've got a few other things. The one that I picked up kind of on a whim, I love this. I don't have a lot of Sun Guts personally, but I like the smaller scale of theirs and this what they do. And I picked up this cool the price was great, 2001 King Ghidorah. This little guy.
Oh my God, Jay.
That's so cool.
That is beautiful.
I love it. Yeah. So I picked this guy up from our good buddy Alex over at Black Market, shopblackmarket.co, I think is their URL. Local toy seller, does some really cool stuff in the tokusatsu realm. But I picked this from him, and I love it. I love it.
I want that.
Yeah,
it's like a little banana.
And speaking of friends, our good buddy Thirsty Thursday Toys, Adam, out in the Pacific Northwest, he was selling off some of his collection. He's going to be at G-Fest, Attack All Monsters, or All Monsters Attack, excuse me. And one of his items that he had that he was selling, and I was shocked, was something that I've been looking for a long time. And I haven't been able to find it. And nobody's posted in the groups. And I was like, oh, I need this. And his price was great. And there's no header or anything, but I don't care about the headers anyway. I don't display the headers. And it's from Marmit, 2003. World Character Convention exclusive. It's Marmit Monster Heaven line, which is my favorite line of Marmit. Our good buddy from the Gamera movie we just reviewed, Gamera versus Baragon. It's Baragon, but Baragon, who's glow in the dark, and Mardi Gras colored. Look at
my
this guy.
God.
I know.
Why
Look at
does-
that.
Why does that exist?
Because it
That
needs to be on my
is
shelf.
so weird. I love it, Jay.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
it's the weirdest thing.
It's like it's Easter
it's-
colored. It's literally
Easter.
Easter egg
Happy
colored.
Easter.
It's pastel Easter eggs. What a
the Easter Baragon.
what a beauty.
Yeah, and the crazy thing that you can't see here is the like down here in the throat where it looks like the tongue is about to come out. Like it's actually like really detailed and like textured down in there. Like they spent some time on it. But you're right. It's Easter. It's Mardi Gras colors. It's glow in the dark. It's Baragon, which is already weird sculpt to begin with or designed to begin with. And I love Marmit because they do not care what colorway they're gonna do whatever they want to do, and I love it. And so I was super excited to get this. This was on my list, short list of things, probably just outside the top 10. But I've been looking for that one for a while since the first time I saw the pictures of it. Yeah, it's a total win. 20-year-old figure. Now everything else I got were Bio Gojis from Marusan, and I got a lot. But I have to do something special here. So there was one that came up. I saw on Instagram, and they referred to it as the new classic colorway because the classic is what the first one that they released, one that they just released the 450 in this colorway as well. It's the first one that they do because it's that classic Marusan blue thing that remember that the J-tail and the L-tail from 67 had. And but like it said new, so I don't know if this was just like a newer run or if this was like a totally new colorway. Like basically, do I need to have this in my collection because is it different enough? And I don't know. So I went ahead and bought it just to see, to do a check. And so here's the original.
Are we going to compare them? We're going to compare them right here.
Still in the bag. It's still in the bag.
Oh man, this is great.
So this is the original Marusan 1989, the first one of the whole Bio Goji line. This is the classic, right? The classic one.
Yes.
This is the first one. Wasn't the first one that I owned, but it's the first one they released in the line. Love this guy. And so this is the other guy. So it looks similar. I'm thinking it might be different enough, but I'm actually going to open him up right here.
Let's open him, dude. Let's open it live on air.
Because the other ones that I have do not look anything like any of the other ones. Are very different.
Very different.
Okay, now let's compare. It is.
Let's see.
It's a little lighter.
It's very different. Look at the chest. Look at his chest. It's very different.
I guess the verdict's in. I'm keeping him.
Let me see the spines. Let me see the spines on both.
There's definitely more blue in the new one.
There's blue on the new. Hey, I'm going to tell you, I like the original better, but it's definitely different. Yeah. Yeah. Good job.
Well, that's why we're here, to help me solve my toy problems.
That one, well, see, the thing is, Jay, do you display those like in order of release?
No.
On your shelf,
I do like
just how it...
I just look what I think aesthetically looks good. So I'll have like a lot of glitters together.
Any
a lot
of the
glow
colors that go together.
Yeah. Okay. But because they're doing some really wacky stuff, it's really throwing everything off. So the other guys I got, there's 7, 3 of them, which are all kind of part of a little family.
Hold on.
Yeah.
7. You're about to show 7 of these?
7.
So you got 8 of these guys tonight?
I got 8 of these. Yes.
You might have a problem, Jay.
Okay. Anyway, dude,
but it's a good problem. I love it.
It's a good problem. It's a problem I can eventually sell off right now. I'm joking.
You better not.
No. So speaking of, if that ever happened, there are 3 on here, and once again, you'll see they go together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
would be in my do not sell list. Like I think these might be 3 of my favorites. But before we get to those, there was one unpainted. Like a solid color, which I don't have. I just got it because it's chocolate. I was thinking like Easter's coming around the corner.
God, you got Easter pickups this week. You got a chocolate Godzilla. You better take a picture of that chocolate. You need to take a picture of those Easter ones and
I know, look at these guys together.
That is oh my God. Put a Mothra egg in there, a couple Mothra eggs. This is a perfect Easter photo.
How did I not have that ready for Instagram?
Dude.
The other, I got 2 that go together. Part of the new, they've been releasing a lot of clear, transparent or translucent ones. Excuse me. I got the bright green and the bright blue.
Oh, these are cool.
So now
Tasty.
I have the clear pink, the clear orange, and the just totally just translucent clear. So these guys will go up there with that. I love these. I mean, I'm a sucker for translucent stuff, so these are going to be purchases regardless. Then this one is cool, but the next one is cool. It's glow in the dark, but it follows the same colorway pattern that they've done. They've just mixed up the colors, so it'll look similar, but this is just a little bit new colorway. And they did this in the 452, and it looks really good. So this is the black and white with this kind of maroon metallic spine. And I like the subtle kind of maroon metallic in the chest. So I really like this guy. And there's some, like I said, there's some similar ones to this up there, and it'll look really good next to those guys. So the final three I'll do together. Now, these are like, I truly think these are three of my favorite. I really think they're my top 5 or 6. I don't know which one I like the best either. That's the hard part. They are, well, I guess these could kind of be Eastery. There's some Easter tints to them. We're talking translucent vinyl doused in red glitter with some really badass striping. So I'll do the first one. They're all very similar. So here he is. He's red glitter.
Oh,
and
that looks like it.
I love the
it looks like a spicy Cheeto or something.
It's awesome. Like I love the dorsal fins. You have the yellow and the red, but with the glitter, but then you have the blue stripe as well that goes along the sides. Absolutely adore these. And and here's how they make them a little bit different. So it looks similar, but he's blue and he has a green stripe there. And then this guy has a purple one. So they are.
Ooh, I like the purple one.
Yeah, the purple one's my favorite, I think.
Those figures look like after you handle them, you need to wash your hands before you touch your face or your eyes are going to water.
They're very spicy.
I love those. Are beautiful.
Yeah, they're
red,
really cool.
That's such a good shade of red.
Yeah. I mean, and this is like, I mean, it is doused in glitter.
Yeah.
It's very, 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 very cool. But I really do love those three, man. And very, very excited to. And I'm trying to rearrange the shelves because now I have 89.
Do you know what you're up to?
Side. Yes. I think that new classics I'm keeping it, I think makes it 71.
Okay, so you're really close to the 89 for 89.
I've won, and
you're
I've won
really close.
I have one on the way. And then after that, I don't know. Well, I have to make them right. I'm buying all of them I got. I could probably get to the 89 by buying different eye color variants, but I don't want to do that because I still enjoy buying them.
Well,
but I have to say,
they're not done releasing them.
No, they know. There's idiots like me out there. Yeah, you know, I have to say, like, for the first time though, I've really noticed maybe the last couple of waves, like when I'm buying more than one at a time, I'm like, I'm really excited to get these red glitter ones with the two-tone dorsal spines. But then like, yeah, but there's also the brown one. Well, I kind of got to get it. Am I super jazzed about this? Like, probably not, but
I love the chocolate one.
Yeah,
more should look like chocolate. I really love that one. That's such a funny.
Hey, there's nothing else on the shelf like it. I'll give you that.
Exactly. You don't see a lot of that color on Safubi. You know, it's just brown. Like that, and it's brown. Not. But it's not even just brown. That is like Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah.
It looks like I want to eat it.
I know, it's Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Safubi. It is like legit. Like looks edible. It really does.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not. It's vinyl. I was making sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so those are my pickups. I really, man, the baby toy, blew me away, and I was so happy to get the Baragon. And then, of course, always fun to add to the Biogoji collection. Soon it'll take over the whole room.
Well, Jay, that's some really, really good stuff, man. I'm really excited about the evolution of your 89 collection. It's impressive and it's funny and they're beautiful. It's cool to see that you could do the same figure that many ways. So yeah, love it.
That's how you make money, man. That's how you make money.
They're like, we don't care, just change something. So I have bought a lot of stuff in the last since we've recorded. I went to a toy show in Atlanta, Toylanta. In fact, is what it's called. Very
So that's in Atlanta, huh?
Original name. They have toys in Atlanta. I have spent so much money, but not on a lot of Godzilla stuff because Toylanta, it's fun. Me and Craig talked about it. We want to find a new toy show to start going. We were like, you know what? We need to go to a bigger toy show that's not in Georgia. Toylanta's fun, but it seemed smaller this year. It seemed run less well. It just did not seem great. There's no kaiju presence at this. There's one guy who's there every year who always has Ultraman stuff, but it's just Bandai stuff, and it's the same guy every year. So it's nothing. Yeah. You'll see a few like random Trendmaster stuff, but nothing like worth buying. Yeah. So I spent a lot of money on. I bought a lot of vintage Star Wars. I did find something that I really wanted, and I had moved to the top of my top 10 regular toy list. Yeah, was the vintage Knickerbocker Lord of the Rings animated toys. Yeah. They're very rare. They're very expensive. And I was able to pick up 3 of the 6 of them at the convention, which is awesome. But here's the thing. I was like, whenever we were going to this convention, I was like, you know what? Somebody's going to have a Clash of the Titans Kraken, and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. As soon as we walked in, we saw one guy who had 2 of them. What? We ended up seeing 4.
Embarrassment of riches.
There were 4 at the convention. 2 of them came with some of the other figures, like loose, just Clash of the Titans figures. But here's the thing. All of them severely overpriced. I've been doing research on those because I do want to pick it up. And if you look at the last few that have sold, $400 for a complete good condition Kraken. $400. Yeah. That's not too bad. No, if they would have had one if they would have had one for $400, I would have bought it. But you know how much they were? $800. $800 was the cheap. $800 was the cheapest of the 4. One guy was trying to get $1,200, and it was the Kraken and 3 of the figures, but all of the figures were not complete. They were all missing pieces. And the human figures, you can get them on eBay. Yeah, pretty cheap. Not cheap, but you can get them for less than $100 a piece with their weapons. So I was like, nobody's paying $12. Me and Craig had a kind of a funny talk about it, and this goes with Star Wars too. People talk about how rare some of these Star Wars toys are, and how rare that Kraken is supposed to be. 4 people had the Kraken. We saw every person who sold Star Wars toys had a blue snaggletooth, and that's supposed to be like a really rare. And I'm like, is it rare? Everybody's got one here. There's
great marketing. It's great marketing.
It's so weird. We were like, I don't think these are as rare as people think they are. So whatever.
That Kraken is so cool, though. It is such an iconic style and look, and it is cool. There's one here actually at Dallas Vintage Toys. Our good buddy.
Oh, do they still have it?
I think so. Last time I was over there, it was still there. It is a cool toy, and that line is cool.
Let's see what their price is. Yeah, I do want to pick that line up, and I will get that Kraken, but the reason I'm not so like crazy, when the Cloverfield toy, when I saw that, I was like, I have to buy it. This is the only one I've ever seen. I'm going to pay what they're asking because you don't see these ever. Yeah. I see the Kraken everywhere I go now. It's like everybody's got one, so I'm not too worried about it. I will get the Kraken when the price is right,
Yeah, yeah. And when the Cloverfield one, you got it, and it also had like everything, like the accessories.
Yeah, it's complete. It's in the box.
It's super.
Nobody.
And the box is really cool too. So like, you want to make sure you have that as opposed.
And
to
I wouldn't have bought it. That toy is so expensive and rare that I wouldn't have bought it. Not complete. I was like, I want to get that as complete as I can get it. But I did spend a day or 2 in Savannah, and Savannah's got a couple cool toy stores. Cool. Something I was not expecting, because you don't see it that often, is I walked into a toy store and they had a whole case of kaiju toys.
That's amazing.
All Safubi wasn't like American shit. It wasn't like monster art stuff. It was Safubi. There were pieces in there that I knew. There was a piece in there that me and you a week previously were talking about, and I was like, "Oh, I think I want this." And then they had it.
Yeah,
I didn't buy it like an idiot because it was expensive, but I bought one thing in there. Nothing rare, nothing crazy. You see it all over the place, but it's also a toy that when I've seen before, I've seen it on your site before, and I said, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. But then when you see it in person, it's like, oh, I like this. And it's this guy.
Oh, I love that one. I love their 62 sculpt. I think Gigabrain does a really good job. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have a ton of 62. I like the 62 sculpt. There's just something, I don't know, like seeing the pictures of this, and I think you could probably say this for most Safubi, don't do this figure justice. I saw it and I was like, oh, you know what? It's a cheap toy. Cheap for Safubi. You know,
it's all relative.
I don't want to say cheap because it's still over $100 or around there, right. But it's like, as far as Safubi goes, it's a good size. It's a fair price, and it's really like the semi-translucent blue, the gold. It's just a beautiful little toy. And I said, well, I got to buy something. So pick this guy.
And I also think like toys like that one, especially anything with like a subtle translucence or, you know, like pictures, you're right, they don't do it justice. And when it hits the light or there's a different type of lighting in your room, it's almost like you have a totally different colorway. And that's what I think is so cool about some of those. And Gigabrain, they do a wonderful job. I mean, I think their translucent stuff is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. I was trying to look up to see. I couldn't remember if that one was an exclusive or if that was it's one of the older ones. I know.
I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just knew it was a Gigabrain, and I don't know.
That's a cool one. That's one of my favorite. Their gold spray on their translucent stuff is always really, really good.
2006.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
06, 07 in that time frame. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, cool.
That's a great pickup, dude.
Yeah, it's cool. So the next thing I got is a weird one. And I saw this in a flea market, not like an antique store. Saw this in an antique store, almost didn't buy it. And then I was walking around the store thinking about it, and I was like, let me see if I can figure out what the fuck this is. And I found it on eBay, and I found a couple on eBay that I was like, whoa, this seems to kind of be an expensive thing. It was not expensive in the store at all, so I said I better buy this. And it's this weird trademark tin King Kong thing. It's supposed to roar from what I've looked online. It does have a battery compartment, and I have the lid for the battery compartment, but it's not attached currently, so I haven't tried to get this going or anything. It's got an off and on switch in the back, trademark. Yeah, I just don't know much about it, but I was like, this thing seems like it might be a little hard to come by, or it's just cool. Yeah, even if it's not hard to come by, it was pretty cheap, and this is awesome. Yeah, I like King Kong, so
anything from the 70s, 80s, and this one, you know, I mean, most of it's trademark modern, because I've actually sold some of their stuff on my site. Some of their Ultraman Jack stuff, so like early 70s, and it was a wind up. And they also released they did some Gamera stuff. What I love, my favorite toy that they've released and I've never seen in person, is they did an Ultraman that drives a fire truck. So a lot of the little figures on like the M1 obviously with the tricycles and everything, but like they did vehicles in the 70s. So that's kind of cool. They're cool. That's a cool, awesome toy. I mean, that just like the aesthetic of that vintage tin style, and that kind of almost folk arty Kong representation is freaking stunning. That's one of the coolest things that's been on this show.
It looks like his eyes light up too. Like you can see they're not like attached to this outer shell. You can like look under and see. It looks like they're light bulbs. So I think his eyes might even. I'm guessing his arms do this. But yeah, this thing's awesome. I was happy to I was happy to just randomly find this in a
that's a cool toy.
Antique
I mean, that's
store
something
in Savannah, Georgia.
I mean, that one, because it's Kong and the kind of the iconography behind that, because it's a very cool vintage style and look. I mean, that doesn't even have to go in a toy room. You know, that could be in like anywhere, like be a style piece. Like, it's a very, 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 very cool piece. Very glad you picked that up, and that'll look cool on one of your shelves. Some King Kong stuff around it. It'd be very cool
for sure. I got one more piece, Jay.
Yeah,
and I have to say it's from last year's top 10 list.
Dun, dun, dun! That's awesome.
This
we need some music for that.
We do, yeah. Put that in post. Yeah. So this was on my top 10 list at the end of the year, or the beginning of this year, or whatever.
Our wish list number 2.
Now, what's crazy about this toy, before I even show it, is this was sent in from a Toy Anxiety listener. Matt Bush. I'm not sure if you listen to this show, but I know he's a Toy Anxiety. He should. He's a Toy Anxiety listener, and I think regular YHS, and he's been really generous, and he's sent us a couple care packages over the year or so, and it's always cool stuff. But he heard me talking about this because one popped up online. You know, I have a saved search for this toy, and it popped up in the middle of an episode of Toy Anxiety, and I was like, "Oh shit, should I buy this right on the show?" But it was right before the toy show. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it. And then one day Craig called me and he's like, "Hey man, isn't this that thing you were talking about?" And I was like, "Yeah. Is that what's happening?" And he's like, "Somebody sent it to you."
What happened?
I don't want to bury the lead any further. It's Trendmasters Megalon, dude. In the box.
With the card.
Unopened. He's got the little plastic tying him down. This is a unopened Godzilla Wars Trendmasters Megalon from 1995. For some reason, Megalon always eluded me. Even when I was a kid, when I was buying these, Megalon has always been one of my favorites. But
they made like 5 of them.
Yeah, anybody knows about the Trendmaster stuff, Megalon was kind of towards the end of the line. They didn't make as many. Same with Varan and Baragon. They didn't make a ton. But I have those 2 figures. Never got a Megalon. So always wanted one. And now I have a fucking Megalon in the box, dude. This is beautiful.
That looks great.
I'm so happy with this. And Matt, if you're listening to this show, again, thanks, dude, because this is awesome. But I'm looking at the back. I'm looking at the back of the box. You know, it's got all the other. I think now what I need, I got a good bit of Trendmaster stuff.
Yeah,
and you know they did like three or 4 different scales, and then there's the big scale. I have some of the kaiju from the big scale, but I do not have the Biollante, not the big one. I got some of the medium sized ones, and I got some of the small ones. Never got the big one. I think that's going to be next on my Trendmasters list, and it's probably more expensive than Megalon. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think not only is that awesome that you get to check something off the top 10 list, but I think it's a YHS on Monster Island first. This is the first time that a top 10 item has been gifted to one of us. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Jacob Walsh breaking down the walls here. That's amazing. Matt Bush with the assist. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. So if anybody wants to get me that Kraken, Kraken.
You won't turn it away. So hey, I was actually having a conversation with somebody the other night about Trendmasters. I had a question for you because you know a lot more.
Let's hear it.
You still have a lot of your collection. So we're talking about like some of like the most important toys, Godzilla toys that ever existed, right? And we're talking about like specific singular toys, like the Marusan J-Tel and L-Tel from 67, the Bullmark, the giant Godzilla that was in Godzilla versus Hedorah, the Marusan remote control 10 Godzilla that was from like the Aurora model kit, the Popey Jumbosaurus, Imperial, you name it. And I was saying, like, especially for us, like the line of Trendmasters is very important because it was an advertisement to like, hey, there are other Godzilla things being out there, or that are out there to a whole group of American kids that had no exposure to anything in the Heisei era because it ended at Godzilla 1985 to us, right? So am I wrong in saying that? Or is there a signature, like singular Trendmasters toy that is like almost bigger than the line? So like when you say Trendmasters Godzilla, does one toy like pop in your head? To me, it's like, it is like it's the line as a whole. And like, there was not like one signature piece.
Yeah.
It's really just everything.
To me, when I think of Trendmasters, the thing that just pops in my head right away is the weird like stylization that they went with, because every single kaiju looks like a He-Man character. You know, they all have muscles. Anguirus is walking on his hind legs and he's got muscles. Even Biolante's vines look like they have muscles. Biolante has legs.
Yeah.
The Godzilla looks like a fucking like mean badass. Like they all are super, super stylized, like Americanized in the worst. Like I feel like Toho probably was like, oh, these are ugly. You know what I mean? Like I bet like hardcore Safubi people probably hated them when they first came out. I don't know if that's true, but that's like just the vibe I get. But I don't know if there's one. It was such a huge line. It's a giant line of toys. They're so like if an American Godzilla toy line came out today with that amount of variety, it would be a fucking dream, because there was literally 2 packs. There was 3 or 4 different scales. There were
micros.
They came with cards, micros. Yeah, there was human figures. There's
and the versus packs, like they're the two like
there was bendables, there's Tamagotchis, there's fucking
watch the Tiger handheld game.
The game, which I have right up there. And then there's eggs where they come in little breakaway eggs. There were the supercharged where they come with armor, and it was, you got it right there. Yeah, I got mine right up here. And they, it was a good line, and it was we could do a whole episode on Trendmasters, and it was responsible for showing a lot of people that they're, like you just said this, that there are other monsters out there. I had no idea who Space Godzilla was until I saw the toy. And the Space Godzilla toy that's maybe one of the best ones. The Space Godzilla toy is awesome.
Yeah, and it's getting new life as with the Mondo release,
which I bought.
Variant.
Did you get one? We haven't talked about this. Did you buy one?
I did. Yeah, and we Ryan and I actually talked about it. He did as well. We were joking about like, hey, like Mondo, like Space Godzilla, like I think I might get every variant. I go, do I collect every Mondo variant like I do the Marusan?
I did not. I don't know. I did not order the first one,
and that was
because standard. I knew. I didn't order standard because I knew I was going to get the Trendmasters one. And there's also a glitter one coming. And I've seen that one in person, and I also want that one. So I was like, I don't want to get a ton. I got 2 of the Biolantes. I'm going to get at least 2 of the Space Godzillas. And I was like, I'm not going to get this first one. I let it. Yeah. It was hard to like, just be like, nope, look the other way. But I did get the Trendmasters version, and I can't
very
wait.
Cool. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that has to be. I have a feeling, assuming it makes into our hands this year, it has to be in Figure of the Year discussions.
We'll see. I don't remember how long those Biolantes took. I don't know. I also don't know what's up with Mondo. Mondo's having a little bit of a time right now, but
changes.
There's some changes, but I don't want to talk too much on that. But from what I've heard. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be saying or allowed to be saying, but from what I hear, the toy side of Mondo is getting a kick up, and it's they're gonna go even harder in that stuff. So cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to see so much more Godzilla stuff from Mondo, because they're all the drama recently aside, because I don't understand enough of what's going on to talk about it. But all of that drama aside, their fucking toys are killing it. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited to get Space Godzilla. And I wonder, like, we've gotten Biollante, we've gotten some Godzillas. I was a little underwhelmed with the Godzillas. I didn't buy any of them. I didn't buy any of the Godzillas. The Jets were amazing. The Biolantes were amazing. The Space Godzillas are amazing. Who's going to be next? I hope it's
Rodan, right?
know?
Is it? Wasn't that the
well.
one?
There
we
is
saw,
a Rodan. There is a
Designer
Rodan,
Con,
right?
or was that? Did you see that
Yeah.
at San Diego Comic-Con? I can't remember. I think there was a Rodan that was on there, but it might not be next. But it was on there.
I just hope that they continue to do. Biollante is one that doesn't get a ton of Safubi. Space Godzilla has how many figures? The Space
Mostly
Godzilla
Marmit.
Two?
Yeah, mostly just the
Yeah.
Marmit stuff. Yeah.
So I hope they continue that trend and maybe do some more underutilized kaiju.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. I mean, that's a smart thing. And I didn't love most of the Godzilla 84s they did. I do have two.
That's what I meant. Yeah, those.
Yeah. I do have the Designer
Those-
Con one from this year, and then the Umi variant, which was Designer Con 2021, and the one from this year, which was the Heat Ray. Not Heat Ray. I don't know. Something. Anyway, I love those, but I don't want to have any of the Heteras. I don't own any of those.
I didn't get Heteras either. I want a Shin. I think it'd be cool if they do some Shins.
That'd be really cool.
Or I don't know. We'll fucking see. Do something. I want a second run of. I want a second run of Pulgasaris. Give me more of those.
Maybe they'll do a Space Monster Wangmagwi.
No. All right. We're 50 minutes in. Let's talk about this movie.
Hey, you said it was only 1 minute that you need to talk about it.
Well, that's true. I literally listen. I'll go ahead and say. First of all, say this movie. What's it called?
So I mean, this is how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know if this is the right way. I say Space Monster Wangmagwi.
I think that's got to be right. I got it right here, Jay. This is your copy. Thank you for sending this.
Oh, no worries. And I got the VHS copy too. I just don't have it here in front of me.
I only brought that in here so I could use it to help try to pronounce the name.
We'll just call it this. We'll just refer to it from now on as Space Monster.
Space Monster. Yeah. Jay, you want to give a little bit of the history about this Lost movie, which maybe should have stayed lost?
Yeah. So I don't know more than most people that have read the first blurbs that SRS Cinema put out about it. And, thank you to those guys for that damn banner. Thank you for those guys once again bringing us, the best in obscure kaiju film. And so this one, lost isn't exactly the right term. It was more just unattainable. So they would play this. It was owned and it was at the Korean Film Archive in South Korea. And they would play it during film festivals and other things. And so every few years, like if you were living in South Korea and you were seeking it out, like you could see it. But it was never shown outside the country. The rights were never produced. Even within the country, the rights weren't ever obtained to distribute it. So SRS, they bridged that gap and they let us, it might as well have been lost to us, right? And so,
sure,
yes. And so it was in the 60s, late 60s, 1967, I believe. And so this came out a month maybe before Yongari. So you could say like this was the first kaiju film from South Korea, not counting Bulgasari, which was what Pulgasari was based off of, which is actually lost, destroyed, none in existence. And so the reason this film still has a little bit of buzz in Korea and probably is like, a question of some obscure, trivia night at a bar is because that the claim, and after seeing the film, I don't believe it, but the claim has always been it's the most extras like ever used in a film at 157,000. Yes, exactly.
What scene is that?
Exactly. So that sounds like some North Korea propaganda, not South Korea.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
They had to cut all 150,000 people, or whatever.
We used them, but it was cut.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's a deleted scene, and so there was a lot of like buzz and hype and stuff around the movie, but needless to say, it was not something that made huge waves within Korea. Otherwise, they would have distributed that thing out. Yeah. So that was it. I mean, it's 1967, but it feels like it was made in 1957. with the
Yeah.
song. But yeah, so I'm curious your overall thoughts on it after seeing it finally.
I do want to say, like, even though I didn't really enjoy watching it, I do think it's really cool that SRS was able to get it out there, and that's just cool. I'm really excited that they've been able to put a few kaiju films out in various different ways. That always is that's an important thing, whether you like the movie or not. That's important, and as many of these movies should be out there as possible. That being said, I just there wasn't much I liked about this movie at all. I do want to point out, like, I'm going to show this again for anybody to see in the cover. That design looks awesome. Yeah, that looks cool. Whatever that monster, whatever that monster is cool. It's not in this movie. The monster that's in this movie looks. Whenever they first show it, they're on their ship and it's like human sized. Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "Hold on, is that this?" And then the whole thing happens. It irradiates and blows up really big, and it's a big creature, and it's the worst costume I've ever seen. It's just like, it looks like they bought like cement in a can or something and just sprayed it over his whole body and then like molded. It's just the dumbest looking costume. They spent no time on it. I don't have anything to say about this movie. Jay, this movie sucks. The only thing I want to, what the only thing I want to talk about in this movie is. You know what it is.
What, the kid peeing in his head?
A kid pees inside of its head.
Yeah.
This little weird kid gets picked up by the monster, ends up crawling into its ear, slicing its eardrum open with a knife. Rattling around in its brain, and then it
swinging on nose hairs.
Yeah, swings on some nose hairs, and he like ends up getting stuck up there, and he just has to sit there, and he takes a piss inside the monster's head. It is the only part of this movie that I enjoyed.
So, I'm going to do a little compliment sandwich. And I'm going to make sure I start with something good and end with something good. And in the middle might be some stuff that's a little critical. Okay. So a positive. I actually thought the quality of the filming, like the actual like cinematography, because when I found like, it's a lost film, I was thinking this was going to be grainy, a lot of like dialogue missing, like whether it was how well they did it or how well SRS upscaled it. I actually thought like, it was way better than my expectation as far as like the quality of the print and like these people were.
It is a good quality print.
Yeah, they were trying. These people in Korea were trying to make a movie. It wasn't like a tongue-in-cheek.
Editing's weird though.
There's so we got that.
The editing's weird.
That's in the middle part. That's in the middle part. Right. But I mean, like as far as the actual, it's like if there were other actors and other plot device and stuff, if it was shot the same way, we could have a pretty good film, right? If everything that actually was going on the film was different, it might be good. I did like that. And then so about the negative, I think the biggest thing that just makes this film not unwatchable, but pretty close is there's no resemblance of a cohesive plot. It is almost like little vignettes because you have like, and you don't know who to follow. Like at the first, it's like, okay, there's the air captain and the lady and his fiance that she wants to get married, and
which I like that. Yeah, I like that so because I was like, oh, there's gonna be like a kaiju attack in the middle of a wedding. This might be cool.
In the middle of the wedding. Yeah, and and so it's like, okay, so the first X amount of minutes, third of the film or whatever, you're like, you have this story and you think he's going to be the main hero protagonist. She's going to be the damsel in distress. And aside from the commentary on Korean women in the 60s, where their wedding matters more than getting stomped on by kaiju. Besides that, like at least, okay, here's a plot. Yeah. Here's a plot.
Yeah.
Then abruptly stops. And it's like, there's these two comedy buddies that
did not like these guys at all.
Oh my gosh. Talk about going on for like, and then the whole thing is they're going to bet on who can lasts the longest before running away from the monster as he attacks. And it's intentional comedy, but unfortunately it's not funny. And so, and then they're talking about he's trading his wife, and then there's this whole weird like wife swapping thing. And that's kind of
weird
middle
because it's like, and it's like it's like 10 to 15 minutes of them in a room with her, and there's just nothing happening.
Nothing going on.
They're just talking. They're like rambling. I was like, what is this?
And it's so bizarre. So like those are the characters. Okay, so what happened to the wife, the fiance, and the Air Force guy? Then you get this rascal homeless kid who then is now the focus of the show in the last half. And he does cross over obviously with the fiance because she has the whole Fay Ray King Kong treatment, right? But like there's no cohesive plot, there's nobody to follow. The actual rampage and destruction is very limited. And so like
it's also
there's nothing there. It's also paper mache. And yes. There's the mask and all that type of stuff is
the foot. The
feet are the worst. I have that on my notes.
Paper mache feet.
Yeah. The feet are the worst. I go put in a bad costume. The feet are the worst. Hey, I'll give them this. There isn't any other kaiju that look like Wangmagwi. I'll give them that. So, but ultimately, it's that there's no like cohesive plot. There's nothing for you to follow and like hook on to as somebody that's viewing it. And then, okay, that's fine if you have an amazing monster fights or destruction, and you don't get that either. And the other thing that's kind of finishing off the middle part of the critical part of the compliment sandwich is it's the like least energetic movie. Like there's nothing that's fun in it.
I mean, there are multiple. Yeah, there are multiple scenes of the monster just standing there.
Yeah,
like not doing anything. Hey, before you get into
far away.
Before you get into the second good part, there are also a couple times in the film where it looks like they were editing and they left a couple frames of a scene in. So it goes from a scene, quick shot of a monster, and then right into something else. And it's not purposeful. It's not purposeful. It's like they left a couple frames in. That happens like 5 times. And I was just like, that's an easy fix. That's a really easy fix.
That's sloppy. Yeah, that's sloppiness. And then the other thing, I guess, actually, there's one other thing I have to mention. The other iconic scene from this, and I'll use the word iconic, other than the kid peeing. I mean, we have to talk about the Me Too with the monster and his love of cleavage, with the focus in on the fiance's cleavage and then panned back out. It's like, what was the fucking point of that? I mean, it was like weird. I don't know if they were going with like the King. I know, right? He is canceled, like the King Kong lives thing. I don't know if they were going with that. That was really bad. So it's a boring, low energy film with no cohesive plot and no characters that you can get behind, and a terrible creature design. With very bad feet. So that's the key takeaways. But the other positives I was saying, I did like one in the broad realm of the special effects. I actually thought some of the miniatures were pretty good. I actually thought some of the buildings were pretty good for what I was looking for. And some of the angles that the miniatures were shot to make them look a little bit bigger, I thought those were fine. That was like, I was worried they were going to look like something out of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something. I thought those were better. They spent more budget on the miniatures, I think, than they did the costume of
anything
the creature.
Else. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I forgot. There was one thing I really actually did like genuinely like not ironically, I think is actually the best part of the whole movie. The one redeeming thing, the outfits for the aliens. Love them. We're talking about retro sci-fi. Those are amazing.
They look like Easter Island like big statues,
soup cans on their head.
They were so funny. I thought they were so
funny.
That
was and like having to take them serious. Like, just I can imagine the actor like wearing this, being like, I mean, I guess it's probably different in 1967 Korea, but like just thinking like wearing that and like, yes, I'm gonna have to be serious for a moment in these giant like. It is the cliche retro sci-fi, making fun of cliche retro sci-fi costuming. And I was like, that is worth the price of admission right there. But everything else is pretty bad.
there was one line of dialogue that the aliens had that I thought was kind of funny, and they're talking about, you know, the humans are trying to kill the creature, and they're like, well, if their heat ray gun doesn't work, then they're probably going to use nuclear weapons. And then they're basically like, oh shit, well that's not that. We need them to not. That'll fuck it up for us too. You know, it's like it was just funny the way they. It's as if they didn't even think about that, and they were like, oh, I hope not. You know,
Yeah,
because we need the land or whatever. It's like,
yeah. It's like
Such
a weird environmental message, but yeah, it is a, you know, if you want to watch it, to say you watched it, I would say like there's
Sure.
two reasons. It's for the wacky scenes of, you know, cleavage zoom ins by a giant kaiju, kids peeing inside the, you know, ear canal of a monster, the weird guy just jumping off the building with an umbrella, random underwear shots, like weird stuff, and unedited scenes, like you said, like clips that shouldn't have been left in.
I will say, I
watched
don't think I've ever seen another kaiju film where one of your characters is running around inside the head of a living kaiju. Like it's
not a robot.
Yeah,
Oh
he's just
God,
in its ear, walking around in its ear. I would say on a serious note, I would support it just because I want SR, you know, I want cinema to keep being able to put these movies out and to keep finding or restoring or bringing back, you know, long forgotten kaiju films, independent kaiju films. I think that's really cool, and I would spend money buying this movie even after seeing what I saw, just to help them out. I will say the trailers, you know, you put the DVD in or the Blu-ray, it automatically starts playing. Have you watched any of the trailers in front of this, Jay?
I have not. No.
Hey, good, because you put the trailers on and it's immediately like a bunch. The first trailer is for a movie called Doll Shark, about a spirit of a shark that lives in a stuffed animal. And it's all like, you know, it doesn't even look like it was filmed on an iPhone. You know, it's all Sharks of the Corn was on here.
They love those sharks.
Which
did they do Toilet Shark or something like that? Bathroom Shark? Wasn't that one of theirs?
Yeah, I don't know. It's on here. Like the first 3 trailers are shark movies, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
You're the shark aficionado.
Well, I've seen Sharks of the Corn. I watched it. I actually watched it like a week ago at work, and it's very bad. But it's like it's a weird string of movies that you can't tell if they're a joke or.
They're serious.
What the fuck is happening? They're all bad, and it's like the premises are like, oh, that's clearly supposed to be funny. Doll Shark is supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
But the movie is bad. It looks bad, it's acted badly, it's written bad. Nothing, you know, it's not a good movie. It's still shit. So all the trailers are like that, and I'm like, oh, don't put these in front of this doesn't make me feel good about what I'm about to watch.
Well, and that's bad marketing too, because they should be putting their other stuff in their kind of kaiju focused.
There's
catalog,
no kaiju
right?
as in it.
Yeah, like they did Nezera, and they've done a couple other ones.
I'm guessing it's all stuff that was like getting ready to come out. Yeah, as the, you know, it was all newer stuff, so they didn't. But yeah, you would think they would put Conga, TNT, and
they did Nezera, which was when that about the making of the rat kaiju film that didn't happen, and it's a movie about them trying to make the movie. But I hope they keep doing this, man. I hope they keep doing good stuff and bringing this stuff over so we can have these amazing shows, because I'm totally going to be picking the next 10 movies.
Nope, we're going to do a good movie next, a good movie or a good show. I can't sit down for another one of these in a row.
Oh, come on. You feel more cultured having watched that. Come on.
I do. I mean, listen, I like being able to tell people, you know, I've seen this, you know, they have, and you haven't, but
you have more street cred now.
Yeah. I have street cred.
It replaces Daigoro versus Goliath.
Space Monster Wangmagwi or whatever the fuck it's called. So dumb. All right, Jet, you got anything else to say about this movie?
I think we've said everything that can be said about it.
We
And
have
then
said in this 18 minutes, we just spent 18 minutes talking about this movie. And in that 18 minutes, we have said more words about this film than anyone ever has or ever will. But what I'm telling you right now is the only words you need to know are these 3 words at the bottom of the screen. That's it.
Monster Island. Oh, that one. Yes,
That's
yes.
it. This movie sucks.
You're not wrong.
Jay, what else? You got anything else?
No, I am excited to be back in the saddle doing this again with you, buddy. This is was super fun. And yeah, next time we could do a better movie, and maybe I won't have 8
Thank you.
1989 BioGo.
No, you have to. No. You can't ever have less than 8 now. All you can do is go up. You can have 8 again.
Yeah.
But if the number changes, it's got to be higher.
No, I gotta. Yeah, I have to collect them all, I guess, or pile them up. Yep.
You need to, Jay, do a video. One of these days, do a video tour of just all of them. What you got
I know.
so far. Cool.
Well, they all have names. They're like Cabbage Patch Kids. They have like Cabbage Patch Dolls, whatever they're. Yeah, Garbage Pail Kids, Cabbage Patch Dolls. Yeah. Yeah, they have names, birth certificates. They have backstories. Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we will catch you guys in like 2 weeks probably.
Sure.
And Jay's gonna. Yeah, we'll figure out something. Or Jay's working on this top 10 Ultra Q list, which I might jump in and watch some more.
I love it.
Ultra Q. I miss it. I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, until then, we'll see you guys later.